Even in 1946, this is an opening your movie as a book cliche. Also, a full minute of opening credits. Maybe someday in the future, studios will realize it's better to get right into the story and put all this stuff at the end. Good thing they'd never then replace it with something just as useless to the story like, I don't know, logos. In the not-too-distant future, next Sunday, AD.
Looks like we'll have to send someone down.
I mean, after all, nearly the entire town is praying for George. Normally, we'd just ignore it and lock him in misery. But then the people had to go and pray for him and stuff. You damn it!
It's that clockmaker's turn again. Oh, Clarence hasn't got his wings yet, has he?
Clarence has apparently tried and failed to get his wings for 200 years. Even after working his way through life, a faithful person good enough to get into heaven, he still has to perform one more task to get his wings. Nothing is ever good enough. It's graduate school for church. Also, doesn't it make you feel all warm and fuzzy that in your time of great need, you might get a clockmaker who's failed for 200 years to get his wings?
He's got the IQ of a rabbit.
Yes, but he's got the faith of a child.
I could easily give him more intelligence, but then he'd stop believing in me.
At exactly 10:45 p.m. Earth time.
You hear that, Australia? It might be 11:45 a.m. where you're at, but be sure to wind those clocks back 13 hours. You're on Earth time now, bitches.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wing?
What's that book you've got there?
God doesn't answer the question right away. I mean, yeah, he does tell Clarence he'll get his wings, but his deflection makes me wonder if the heaven depicted here is a sneaky Twilight Zone hell, where you get promised your wings and then God moves the goalposts.
Sit down.
Sit down?
Cosmic Clarence would be stellar at CinemaSins.
See the town?
Where? I don't see a thing.
Oh, I forgot. You haven't got your wings yet.
Do you normally show a non-wing person a vision and forget they don't have their wings? And I'm really beginning to wonder what the big deal is with having wings, other than being able to spy on unsuspecting people. That's the only power we're told about wings in this entire movie. Harry falls into the ice, and God bless these old movies. He clearly gets stopped before he sinks too deeply, but the movie doesn't cut away quick enough. No ice that close to running water should be thick enough to support someone on top of it, even a kid lying down. You would need to grab a long branch to save them. In the real version of this, every one of these kids dies tragically of hypothermia, and the movie is over in 5 minutes flat. Why does that sound so appealing to me? Forming a gate with your best friends while walking down a road.
That's Henry F. Potter.
He's one of the more famous American nomad potters.
Wish I had $1 million. Hot dog!
Believing in things.
I like him. You like every boy.
Grade school slut shaming.
Is this the year you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I have bad hearing, and one ear worse than the other, but if you lean in that close and confess your undying love, I'm gonna notice. His good ear is about as close to her as his bad.
And I'm gonna have a couple of harems, and maybe 3 or 4 wives.
I wonder how you can have competing harems. Is one harem for making love, and the other harem is for all the nasty the other harem won't do? Taking advice from cigarette ads. Man, the 40s were the tits.
Look at the bottle you took the powder from. It's poison, I tell you, it's poison.
I've been drunk before, but I'm not sure I've been taste poison to make sure it's poison drunk. Is that how pharmacists got their licenses back then? They became sommeliers for drugs?
Yeah, I don't suppose you'd like this old second-hand job, would you?
George aspires to have multiple harems, so I'm assuming that he not only likes second-hand jobs, but also probably hundred-hand jobs. I don't want to spend the rest of my wonderful life cataloging the vast amount of continuity errors in this movie, but scenes like this, where this woman walks by the car twice and is seen often in other parts of the scene, and Ernie ducks into his cab only to be shown seconds later still leaning out, are commonplace here in Bedford Falls. Which means either there's a glitch in the Matrix, or they didn't have continuity departments in 1946. Either way, here's 15 sins to save my sanity.
Annie, my sweet, have you got those pies?
You lay a hand on me, I'll hit you with this broom.
Annie, I'm in love with you. There's a moon out tonight.
This is all kinds of ists.
Oh, I had another tussle with Potter today. I thought when we put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up on us a little bit.
You thought putting Potter on the board of directors would make him ease up on you? Also, how is it that the unfeeling Potter, the Ebenezer Scrooge of this tale, has been held back from crushing the building and loan for decades? The business requires his money to stay afloat, and he can pull the plug at any time. But because Peter Bailey is so incredibly persuasive, he's been able to hold Potter back when he's clearly ruthless and has no soul.
Oh, he's a sick man. Frustrated, sick in his mind, sick in his soul, if he has one.
Someone has been reading my fan mail.
Pop, you want a shock? I think you're a great guy.
There's a reason this movie has stood the test of time, and that reason's name is Jimmy Stewart. He somehow takes the sentimentality and cheese and turns it into a big old plate of sincerity. I knew I'd have to give this sin off eventually. Might as well get it out of the way now.
Putting a pool under this floor is a great idea. Saved us another building.
Yeah, but wouldn't building a retractable basketball floor be more expensive than constructing a building with a pool in it? I mean, look at this thing. The gym is huge enough to host a full-on Charleston dance-off, but that floor has to go somewhere when it retracts, not to mention all the other work they'd have to do to blast the foundation and a million other things to build this pool this far under the floor.
George Bailey is dancing right over that crack. I've got the key.
Who is this foul tempter? Why does he care so much? And where did he even get the key? If he wants this pool open, why not just do it himself? Yeah, movie's got a movie and all, but are you telling me they wouldn't feel the sudden inertia of the ground starting to move under their feet? This George and Mary almost fall into the pool scene is amusing, but the entire Bedford Falls high school class of 1928 are dicks for not warning them about this. So why did the gym floor stop opening? Could it be because you wanted this shot of people jumping in on both sides to stay in frame more than you wanted it to reflect reality? You can admit it to me. I won't tell anyone. I promise. These two vandals want to join the fun so much they do it twice.
I had to knock down 3 people to get this stuff we're wearing here.
So in the locker room, there was a football uniform and a robe right next to each other? Besides, I'm not sure I'm buying this mad dash to the locker room to get dry clothes. Did everybody get out of the pool at the same time? Did someone yell, "Hey, you want dry clothes? Go to the locker room. First come, first serve," and everybody went ballistic?
Too young or too old?
Hold on. Just right.
This is the creepiest game of Goldilocks I've ever heard.
No, you see, you make a wish and then try and break some glass.
But I thought you could make a wish on that mystery flame box you've wished for $1 million on twice. Why smash a window of a house that the woman you like says she loves?
Why don't you kiss her instead of clawing her to death?
Ah, the days before internet porn.
There you are, catch. What am I doing? This is a very interesting situation.
Is this good-natured teasing or is George being an asshole here? I'm genuinely asking. Is it comedy between friends? Is it sexual harassment? Is it somewhere in between? My woke-o-meter is broken and I need a ruling.
This is my last chance. Uncle Billy here. He's your man.
But George, they'll vote with Potter otherwise.
So you're saying that the board would go with the original motion to close the building and loan, something that George was totally okay with before this dude came out and said the board wanted to keep the business open? Or is he saying that Potter would assume control of the building and loan, which also wouldn't make sense considering he hates it?
But he gave his school money to his brother Harry and sent him to college.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled angel's position.
My father just fell in love with him.
You did too.
Yeah, but he has sex with me more.
Georgie, have you gone crazy? Why, walk in the grass in my bare feet.
Geez, where did this sudden, overly interactive crowd come from? You're telling me dozens of people gathered around in just a few seconds to force laughter at what is clearly an unfunny situation? What is this, a Big Bang Theory taping?
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Damn. I mean, I know making violent love meant something else in 1946, but it's 2019 and I need a second to recover from the thought of a BDSM Donna Reed. In fact, I may need several seconds.
George, do you remember that night in Martini's bar when you told me you'd read someplace about making plastics out of soybeans?
I'd like to point out that the timeline has us around 1932 at this point, based on Harry's graduation in 1928 and 4 years at school, meaning it's been illegal to sell or drink alcohol for over a decade. So either Martini's bar was a juice bar for this meeting, or these two are known criminals. I'm not sure which it is, but here's a sin for prohibition in general.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Drop calls.
Now you listen to me. I don't want any plastics. I don't want any ground floors. And I don't want to get married ever to anyone.
Look, this scene is great. Leading up to this, their proximity to each other as they share a phone has a sexual tension that I think only movies back then could do properly. But they had one date 4 years ago. I know that the power of boners is going to be yet another obstacle in his plan to travel the world like he's wanted since he was 12. But this scene might feel more earned if they'd started dating again and she wanted to get married and he didn't. This scene is great, and I want to remove 80 sins for it, but my hands are tied. Take that, 1946.
If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you will never reopen.
Why is that again? I mean, you literally just said the bank was going to close for a week and then reopen. Shouldn't the old building and loan be able to do the same thing? I get that we're setting up the stakes here, but these are some shaky stakes at best.
Here, Ed, you remember last year when things weren't going so well and you couldn't make your payments?
Yeah, I remember. I also remember I told you that if you ever get a chance, don't tell the entire town about it.
It's all right, Tom. How much do you need?
$242.
No, Tom, just enough to tide you over until the bank reopens.
I'll take $242.
This dickhead was willing to take $121 from Potter as he offered to swindle the whole town to screw the building and loan, but he's going to take his full amount out of George's honeymoon money because I guess George his mom or something? I can't figure out why this guy is such a stickler for the full amount.
We're gonna make it, George.
Okay, so did all you people in Sinland count the number of motherfuckers who walked into the building and loan around 3 in the afternoon? Because the motherfucker quotient was high, and that was before the $242 dildo here asked for his $242. So George was left with $1,758 after that, with conservatively 40 people and 3 hours left. Now, the 3 people we saw after that only got $20, but one dude said he had medical bills to pay. And how many other people were like $242 guy and wanted their full amount? Maybe everyone decided to be nice and take $20 after that. I don't know. But I'm certainly going to call bullshit on it.
Come home. 320 Sycamore. Well, what? The Waldorf Hotel.
The only time you ever repeat what someone is saying to you on the other end of a phone to this degree is if you want someone else to hear what the other person is saying. You know, like a movie audience.
Remember the night we broke the windows in this old house? This is what I wished for.
And I gotta say, moving forward, this really justifies all my past and future vandalism. They are loading a live goat with horns into the back of this car with these kids, and dear God, if Donna Reed hadn't grabbed that goat by the horns, the negligence could very well have ended much darker than even this movie gets.
Bread, that this house may never know hunger.
Oh, and don't you know? If you bury this bread in the backyard, it'll grow more bread. And as long as you take care of your bread crop, you'll never be wanting.
Then came a war.
No one will be seated during the here's what every single character in the entire movie was doing during the war portion of the film.
Sam Wainwright made a fortune in plastic hoods for planes.
But he couldn't afford a real factory, so he conducted all the meetings next to a blue screen. This article that is supposedly about Harry Bailey has nothing to do with Harry at all. It has something to do with mining and a decision handed down by a judge. Now, is that any way to treat a war hero?
Be sure you spell his name right.
You, dude, the banner is already made. It's got the name spelled right. It's not even a hard name to spell. Movie doesn't take time to explain this magic wreath. George throws it onto the table, only to have it magically appear back on his arm. I know I said I wasn't going to highlight every continuity error, but it's a magic wreath.
8,000.
$8,000? Really? I know we don't see them all, but that stack seems to be mostly fives, and I doubt there's more than 30 bills there. There's no way that wad of cash is more than $1,000, let alone $8,000. Someone call the bank examiner. Oh, wait. Also, are we supposed to believe he's recounting by rifling through it? No one can assess the value of cascading bills that quickly. Who is he, Make It Rain Man?
Well, aren't you going to make a deposit?
Oh, sure I am.
Well, then it's usually customary to bring the money with you.
This is kind of on George, though, right? I mean, nepotism is one thing, but putting your clearly forgetful uncle in charge of running the deposits is another thing completely. I've seen this movie a lot of times, but I never noticed Uncle Billy's Dr. Doolittle office before, and a squirrel comes to comfort him. What the hell is this scene?
Oh, she's got a cold. She's in bed. Caught it coming home from school. They gave her a flower for a prize, and she didn't want to crush it, so she didn't button up her coat.
All this time, science has been searching for a cure for the common cold, and we just needed to button our coats. Lazy scientists, the answer's been here the whole time. James Stewart in Frank Capra's The Room.
I'm in trouble, Mr. Potter.
Look, desperate times require desperate measures, but I still find it hard to believe that George asked Mr. Potter for a bailout.
I'm not a praying man.
There are probably millions of people more desperate than even George is who are praying right now, who are praying people. But this one will be answered. And considering that it's Clarence's turn to perform a miracle, I'm assuming that they don't have scores of people in the Sturdy Wings program who can take care of the other people out there that might need some help.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
The guy George tongue-lashed over the phone because his wife is a terrible teacher or something just happens to be at the bar at the same time.
He gone. No worry. His name is Welsh. He no come into my place no more.
Even though Martini doesn't know the whole story, George did berate that dude's wife over the phone. It's really hard not to be on Team Welch here, no? Drinking and driving. This works. Also, they survived this.
You, if I were drowning, you'd try to save me.
This is the guy who hasn't been able to get his wings for 200 years because he's so very stupid. Maybe he's learned a thing or two, but I find it hard to believe that this guy hasn't earned his wings yet. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the terrible misadventures of Clarence and the elusive wings someday, just so we can see how he's messed this up for so long.
AS2, what's that AS2?
Angel second class.
Wouldn't Angel second class be ASC? Or maybe just A2? What does AS2 stand for? Angel second 2?
You've got your wish. You've never been bored.
What I'd like to know is if Clarence wasn't given the power to show George's life if he didn't exist, what would the solution have been? Could he have just come up with this on his own? Or did it require George to say he wished he was never born? It's no wonder Clarence hasn't gotten his wings. The task required of him is nearly impossible. In fact, there should be a long line of people who have failed time and again to earn their wings, right? Also, now the movie will show him all the good he did for others and convince him his life is valuable. So is that what makes a person's life valuable? If Potter was going to wheel himself off that bridge, would anyone pray? Would heaven let it happen anyway? If it's a math equation that determines the value, how do I know when I cross the over-under? Did I just get way too philosophical for a snarky YouTube channel that's supposed to make you laugh? Sorry, scene does not contain a Clarence lap dance or something.
You had me worried. One of the oldest trees in Pottersville.
Pottersville?
This moment here, this is where George should truly realize he's in an alternate reality. If all the other things he's witnessed to this point didn't convince him, this should certainly do it. But George will continue to think everything is the same for an insane amount of time and inspire the 4th Shrek movie, and I cannot forgive that.
What's the matter with him? Never saw a neck act like that before.
It's because you didn't exist, and when you don't exist, it changes the very character of other people. Nick wasn't a nice guy before because of anything about him, it was all about you. Sheesh, I should have called this Narcissism the movie and been done with it.
Every time you hear a bell rings, it means that some angel's just got his wings.
Well then, by my calculation, we must be pretty popular in heaven, because we ding that bell constantly. Look at me, fellas, I'm handing out wings!
You see, George, you were not there to stop Gower from putting that poison into the capsule.
What do you mean?
What would have been awesome is if this movie found a way to show some things that were better if George didn't exist. Like, for instance, that the family George saves at the beginning of the movie by not giving them the poison capsules. What if that family didn't even have diphtheria? Interesting, George has no wallet, but he gets to keep the clothes he was wearing when all this started.
I have no papers, no cards, no driver's license.
Oh, but look, here's that $8,000 your Uncle Billy lost. Won't do you any good here, though, but isn't that fun? Also, wouldn't that have been one of the first things he checked after putting his clothes back on? I do the wallet, keys, phone check every 5 minutes, and I've never even jumped into any icy rivers.
A chance to see what the world would be like without you.
But only if all the things around you would have happened at the exact same time. The problem with this self-obsessed thinking is that it doesn't take into account the butterfly effect. The millions of minute ways the world changes when any tiny factor is changed. It's all there in the Ashton Kutcher documentary on the same subject. You should watch it.
You understand that, and I'm going home alone.
Movie inspires its own inclusion into the Home Alone franchise. If we look around Pottersville much longer, we'll see the secret to Potter's wealth. He stole a sports almanac in 1976 and gave it to his younger self in 1916. One of the evil places of business that has sprouted up in George Bailey's absence is a pawn shop.
Is this the place?
Of course it's the place.
I can't get over it. George's denial during this whole thing is otherworldly. He's seen his own building and loan completely gone, new buildings, nobody knowing who he is, and he still thinks there's a chance something is the same. I know story-wise this must happen, but at what point would you know you're in an alternate reality? Before George Bailey is your answer, and you're right.
Oh, Joseph! Joseph!
Man, God would have so many more followers if stuff like this happened on the regular.
Your brother, Harry Bailey, broke through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Why would Harry have even been at that ice slide? Would he have been friends with a non-existent older brother's friends? Would they have picked the same spot on the same day without George's input? Would he have even tried to go as fast or as far without his older brother bullying him as a scare baby? For all we know, Harry might have grown up with more opportunities and in a family with more resources and one less mouth to feed.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them.
Yeah, assuming that the war itself carried out the exact same way as it did when George existed. Oh, so I'm no fun now? You think I'm ruining this movie? It's 73 years old. It's had a pretty good life.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
Roll Zuzu's pedals.
You're not gonna like it, George.
Where is she?
She's an old maid. She never married.
Oh, the humanity. Can you imagine anything more tragic than a woman who never married? God save us all from this apocalypse, for we are surely doomed. Also, if that was her choice, then so be it. But we're talking Donna Reed here. The idea that she didn't have a ton of suitors and no George Bailey to compare them all to makes it sound like George was the only ideal man she could ever marry, and other guys took a look at her and said, smart, nice, and beautiful, ew.
There must be some easier way for me to get my wings.
There isn't.
Mary!
Seriously though, by all accounts, she's got a good job, seems well put together, and gets to hang out around books all day. It's quite possible Mary is better off without you, George, despite what the movie is trying to tell us. Also, she's really the hero here, right? She's the one who stays kind and patient, offers the honeymoon money to keep the building and loan open, and rallies friends and family to save the day. All while fixing up an old house and parenting 4 kids. Yeah, you've got a wonderful life, George, but it's much more because of Mary than you.
Stand back!
Bert turned from humble, friendly neighborhood cop to one that shoots into a crowded street because some random guy punched him in the face. How's all this on George?
Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan!
If I'm honest, I kind of want the Midnight Club back.
Where's your mother?
She went looking for you.
Either Mary left the kids in this house alone, or she enlisted the bank examiner, the DA, and all the other guys here to babysit. Or the kids just left these guys in the house, no questions asked. All this time, you were watching the biopic of the first successful Kickstarter campaign, and now you know the rest of the story.
It's from London.
Oh.
Mr. Gower cabled you need cash. Stop.
My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop.
Oh.
Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
This.
To my big brother George, the richest man in town.
And this gets me every time. Every single time.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Well, what does she know? She let you run out in the cold, and her husband is a dick too.
It's like we're in hell or something.
No, it's Hill Valley, although I can't imagine hell being much worse.
Attention, CinemaSins universe!
I didn't think we were supposed to copy the Sincast when we did this.
We're trying to talk about BTS podcast. Sincast is a podcast. I was just trying to do my own thing.
Yeah, Aaron is just giving it his own pizzazz.
First, that is the same terrible Jeremy impersonation, and we all agreed that it would never go beyond these walls. And second, did you just Say pizzazz.
Focus. We need to talk about Behind the Sins. It's our podcast. We want people to know about it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening because I'm still trying to get over Jonathan saying pizzazz.
Although considering our podcast is rarely on point, maybe this is perfect.
What would you say our podcast is 90% bunny trail?
Its purpose is to go behind the scenes, or behind the sins, of the CinemaSins universe.
You wonder, why was that sin that way? Why did they do this? Well, we're answering those questions. Which sins did we mess up? None of them. Which sins were amazing? All of them.
It's a weekly podcast. You can find it right now by searching for Behind the Sins in your podcast player of choice.
BTS, check it out.
I believe Jeremy says that on one of the other promos.
No, it's fine because Jeremy doesn't actually listen to our podcast.
I owe everything to George Bailey. Help him, dear Father.
Joseph, Jesus, and Mary, help my friend, Mr. Bailey.
You've got prayers.
Hi, Ernie. Hiya, George.
Hi, Bert.
George.
Hey there, Bert.
Hi, Ernie.
But you've given my words a meaning that I never dreamed of. And you've tried to twist them into a cold, logical excuse for your ugly murder.
Well, good morning, Mr. Potter. What's the news?
You are a shithead, Williamson. Can't think on your feet. You ought to keep your mouth closed.
Think, McFly, think.
You want a drink or don't you?
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're going to pay for it.